Welcome students, this is GATE training course on mechanics of materials. This is my 7th lecture, tutorial in shear force and bending moment diagram. Let's directly go to the problems. See, a concentrated force F is applied perpendicular to the plane of the figure on the tip of the bent bar as shown in figure. The equivalent load at the section close to the fixed end is. See, we have a bar like this, bent bar, and a force F is applied perpendicular to the plane of the paper or the screen which you are watching. So if you are applying a load like this, watch my cursor. If you are applying a load like this, somewhat like this, then you will be getting an bending moment. But instead you are having a load which is perpendicular to the plane here. So as a result, you will be getting a twisting moment about this point, that is about the fixed point. So the twisting moment, which is equal to F into the perpendicular distance, is L. So you'll be going to get that twisting moment F into L, and by law of transmissibility of forces, you can replace the force at any point without disturbing the line of action by an equivalent force and the moment which is equal to the force and the distance between the point which it is originally applied and the point where we are replacing now. So as a result, you will be getting a force F and a twisting moment FL at this point. So the answer is C. Right. So whatever I said is written here. If the load acts vertically, then bending and shear force occurs. Right. In case of twisting moment, a force perpendicular to the plane occurs and at the fixed end C. Right, twisting moment and force occurs now. So let's go to the second problem. A concentrated load of P acts on a simply supported beam of span L at a distance L by 3 from the left support. The bending moment at the point of application of the load is given by. So we have different options. So we have a simply supported beam. Let's have a look at the diagram. Right, this is the diagrammatic representation of the distances, and this is the point where the load P is applied. So now we want to find the bending moment at the point of application of the load. That is, we want to find the bending moment at this point. So first we want to calculate the reactions R1 and R2. So for finding the reactions, we will be going through this formulas, that is, the sum of upward forces is equal to sum of downward forces. Putting the R1 and R2 as the upward reactions and P is the lone downward force. So R1 plus R2 is equal to P, and the next equation being the summation of the moment at the point 2 is 0. So here R1 produces a clockwise moment, so force into perpendicular distance, that is R1 into L, minus this P produces a anti-clockwise moment, so minus P into the distance is 2L by 3. So while solving this equation, you will be getting these two values of R1 and R2. R1 is 2P by 3 and R2 is P by 3. So now to find the moment at this point, either you have to find the moment from the left hand side or from the right hand side. Both are going to be equal. Say now I am going to find the moment from the left hand side. So left hand side, the force is reaction. So R1 2P by 3 into the distance is L by 3. So you will be getting a value 2P L by 9. So the answer is D, 2P L by 9. So even if you calculate from this side, so it becomes P by 3 into 2L by 3. So it becomes 2PL by 9. So again the answer is D. Let's move on to the next problem. A simply supported beam carries a load P through a bracket as shown in figure. The maximum bending moment in the beam is, so you have different options. So this is the diagram. Let's look it in detail. So this is a simply supported beam of length 2L, and exactly at the center you have a bracket like this, and at the end of the bracket a load P is applied, and the eccentricity of the bracket is A. Right. So as per transmissibility of forces, we can replace the force acting here to the beam here by an equivalent force and a moment. Okay. So now I am replacing this force P by a force equivalent force P here at this, exactly at this point, and an equivalent moment which is equal to P into A, force into perpendicular distance here. So instead of load acting on the bracket, now you can assume a force of P as well as a moment PA in the clockwise direction acting at this point, that is acting exactly at the center. Now we have to go for the same calculation, right? R1 plus R2 is equal to P, that is the sum of vertical forces is equal to sum of upward forces is equal to sum of downward forces. So R1 R2 being the upward forces and P being the downward force. So R1 plus R2 is equal to P, and then we have to take the summation of moments at the point 2 is equal to 0. So let this reaction be R1. So R1 into 2L, right? So since it produces a clockwise moment, and for the anti-clockwise moment, so minus P into L, right? And again PA produces a clockwise moment, so PA is equal to 0. So solving these two equations, you will be getting the values of R1 and R2. So the R1 value is P by 2 minus PA by 2L. So this is the value of R1 by solving these two equations, and this is the value of R2. So R2 is equal to P by 2 plus PA by 2L. Right. So now the point is we want to find the maximum bending moment. So the bending moment diagram will be somewhat looking like this. Due to the point load here, due to reaction R1, you will be having a linear variation of bending moment, and exactly at this point, due to the application of this moment, there will be a sudden increase, and then again it falls down due to the loading P. So this is going to be the bending moment diagram. So we want to find what is the value here. So I am going to find the bending moment here. So just force into perpendicular distance. So at this point, lower point, the value is going to be PL by 2 minus PA by 2, that is R1 into L. So when you are multiplying R1 by L, it becomes PL by 2 minus PA by 2, right? So PL by 2 minus PA by 2, and now again a moment is getting added, so the maximum value is going to be added by PA. So when you are adding PA here, so it becomes PL by 2 minus PA by 2 plus PA, which becomes PL by 2 plus PA by 2. So the answer is going to be B, PL by 2 plus PA by 2. Now let's move on to the fourth problem. A steel beam of breadth 120 mm and height 750 mm is loaded as shown in the figure. Assume E of steel is equal to 200 GPa. Right. So this is the condition given, and the dimension and the value of uniformly distributed load all are given, and you are asked to find the beam is subjected to a maximum bending moment of. What is the maximum bending moment acting on the beam? So you can directly, you will be very familiar with the formula. Maximum bending moment in a beam, simply supported beam subjected to uniformly distributed load is WL square by 8. Or either you can go for finding the reactions and finding the bending moment at the center. So since the load is a uniformly distributed load, you can easily say that since it is a symmetric loading, half of the load will be acting on the as R1 and half of the load will be acting as R2 in the opposite sense. So total load is W into L. So WL by 2 is going to be the reaction here and WL by 2 is going to be the reaction here. So the moment at this point is WL by 2 into L by 2, so which becomes WL square by 4, and the moment due to the half of this loading, that is UDL, that is WL by 2 into, right, the value is WL by 2 into the distance from here to here. We are going to take the distance from here to here, right, into L by 2, sorry, L by 4, right. So WL by 2 into L by 4. So it becomes, so WL square by 4 minus WL square by 8. So it becomes WL square by 8. Either you can go for calculations, or if you remember the formula, you can find it out. So WL square by 8. So W is 120 kilonewton per meter. So 120 into L. So L is 15. So 15 square by 8. So just go for cancellation. So if you can cancel something, just do that, right. So if you cancel it, it becomes 15 cube, right. Don't go for multiplication or anything. So it becomes 15 cube. If you put 15 cube, the value will be something like 3375. So the answer is A, 3375 kilonewton meter. A simple problem. Now let's go for the next problem. It is problem number 5. List 1 shows different loads acting on a beam and list 2 shows different bending moment distributions. Match the load with the corresponding bending moment diagram. So these are the list 1 contains the loading and list 2 contains the bending moment diagram. Remember, while reading the question, whether it is bending moment or whether it is shear force diagram. So the questioner will try to confuse you either by giving the bending moment or the shear force diagram, right. So read it carefully. So now it is the bending moment diagram. So let's see, for check it for A. So for A, you have a pure bending moment at the center. So remember the point, if you have a pure bending moment or a pure torque in a loading condition, so at that point there will be a steep rise or fall in the bending moment diagram. So we are going through these 5 bending moment diagrams. So only in the second diagram you have a steep fall, right. So which means this is going to be the option for load A. So for A, the corresponding answer has to be 2. So I am going to check for the answers here. So in the option A, you are having for A 4 as the option. So it is not going to be right. So in the option B also for A it is 5. So in the option C for A it is 2. So C may be the answer or D may be the answer. In these 2 cases, for A, the answer is 2. So I am going to concentrate for either C or D. So now, in the second option, for B, you have a point load at the center. So remember that if you have a point load, then in the bending moment diagram, you are going to have a linear variation, right. So already 2 is done, right. So only the linear variation remaining in the diagram is 4. See here, you have a linear variation of bending moment from 0 to maximum and then from maximum to 0. So this may be the answer. So for B, the option is 4. So for A, the option should be 2 and B, the option should be 4. So the answer which satisfies these 2 conditions is D. So there is no need for checking further. I can directly choose the option as D, A2, B4, C1 and D3. If you even want to check, you can check. For C, the answer is 1. So whether we can check whether C it is 1. So if you have a uniformly distributed load, you'll be having a quadratic variation, so it satisfies that. And for D, it is an uniformly varying load, so you'll be having a cubic variation. So from 3 you can say, for D the option was 3, so you can say the option 3, it is again right. It is a cubic curve. See how you can identify is, see here the load is more towards the right. Alright, so the peak of the curve is more towards the right. The third bending moment, the peak of the bending moment is more towards the right. It is not at the center. It is somewhat towards the right. So D, the option is 3. You can very well choose the answer as D. Let's look at the next problem. So a cantilever beam OP is connected to another beam PQ with a pin joint as shown in figure. A load of 10 kN is applied at the midpoint of PQ. The magnitude of bending moment in kilonewton meter at fixed end O is. What is the bending moment here? That is the question. Right. So if you have a hinged point here, right, now you have to solve it as two separate beams. Right. So you have to solve it as two separate beams. So this was the original problem. So you have a fixed end, then a hinged point, and you have a simple support, and middle of that region PQ you have a 10 kN load. So what you have to do is, you have to assume this portion as a simply supported beam. Since you have a simple support here, the hinge can be assumed as a simple support, because this portion, OP portion of the beam, offers resistance to the downward movement only. Right. So you can take this portion as a simply supported beam. Okay. So at the middle point you are having 10 kN load. So a 5 kN load reaction will be on the right side, and another 5 kN upwards. That reaction will be there on the hinged point. So this is going to be the reaction. So this reaction force, that is the force applied by this 10 kN coming to this hinge, will act as a loading for the next half of the beam. So next half, since this is a fixed support, you have to assume it to be a cantilever beam. So the 5 kN load downwards, it will be acting on this beam. So the maximum bending moment, or the magnitude of bending moment at this point, is going to be the force into perpendicular distance. So 5 into 2, that is going to be the value 10 kN. So the answer is C, 10 kN. So remember this, there may be many problems with this type. That is, there will be a hinged point given and you have to solve it. Okay, let's move on to the seventh problem. A simply supported beam AB has the bending moment diagram as shown in the following figure. So this is the figure which shows a bending moment diagram of a simply supported beam. Okay, so the beam is possibly under the action of following loads. So you are asked to find what may be the loading condition, right? So the first option is couples of M at C and 2M at D. The second option is couples of 2M at C and M at D. And the third option, C, is concentrated loads of M by L at C and 2M by L at D. And the fourth option is concentrated load of M by L at C and couple of 2M at D. So let's see what may be the option. So while inspecting this bending moment diagram, you can find there is a linear variation of bending moment, right, from A to C, right? So this may be due to loading, or this may be due to reaction, right, reaction force. So either reaction or an external loading, a point load is acting at the point A. So we can take that, right? And then At C, you have an increase of m, a magnitude in increase of m. So sudden increase in m, that is moment, can be only be possible if you have an equivalent magnitude of couple. So a couple of m is acting here, so at the point C. So check the answer, couple of m at C. Right, so A may be the right answer. So couples of 2m at C. So it is not possible because since only a magnitude of m is rising. So B is not possible. So here there is no m value given here. Right, couple value is not given. It is given as concentrated load in the third option, and again concentrated loads at the third option. So we can very well determine that, say that the option A is the right answer, m at C and 2m at D. So here again at D, from this point a 2m increase is seen. So a 2m couple is acting at D. So the option A is the right answer. Okay, so at C, change in bending moment is m, whereas in D the change is 2m. So the answer is A. Let's move on to the next problem. Match list 1 shear force diagram of beams with list 2 diagrams of beams with supports and loading. So previous problem, it was about matching the loading, possible loading with the bending moment. Now we are going to match the possible shear force diagram with the loading. Right, so match list 1 shear force diagram of beams with list 2 diagrams of beams with supports and loading, and select the correct answer by using the codes given below in the list. Right, so these are the answers. So let's check one by one. Right, so this is the option A. So this is the shear force diagram. So remember, this is the shear force diagram. So from this point to this point, that is in the first portion of the shear force diagram, you are having a slanting line, that is a linear variation, which means at this portion you will be having a uniformly distributed load. A slanting line or a linear variation in shear force diagram represents a UDL in that portion. So you are going to have UDL in this portion. So the option may be 1, right, or the option may be 3. Right, for A, option may be 1 or option may be 3. So right, and then again at this point you are seeing a sudden rise in the shear force diagram. So which means a sudden rise indicates a point load. That point load may be loading, external loading, or it may be a reaction force. So there has to be a point load in the form of reaction or in the form of external loading, right? So see here, so again you are having option, we have fixed as for A it may be 1 or 3. So in the both in the 1 and 3 you are having supports there. So this upward surges satisfied again by 1 and 3. Now again we have to further move on to the shear force diagram. Again you are finding a slanting line, which mean a linear variation means again from this point to this point, again we are going to have a UDL. So we can converge on to the point, that is option 3. That is, in the third, between the support we are having an UDL, and due to this reaction at this point, again you are having a surge in the shear force diagram, and then again due to this loading it comes back to 0, right? So very well we can confirm that for A it is 3, right? So in the answer A is 3, which is given for the option A and B. So you can very well remove or disqualify answer C and D from your options. So now answer A and B is in the list. Then check for the second option. For B, you are again seeing a linear variation in the first small distance, right? So which mean you are going to have a uniformly distributed load at this point. So again the only option remaining with the uniformly distributed load is option 1. So for B it has to be 1. For A it is 3, and for B it should be 1. So the only option is option A, small a, first option, where for A it is 3 and for B it is 1. So we can very well choose the answer as A, first option, right? Let's check with the remaining two cases, and we can go further into the option B also. See here, you are going to have a distributed load here, so you are having it, and due to the support reaction you are having a surge, and then there is no load at all, and then due to the reaction again a surge, and due to this UDL you are having here. So for B the option is 1, so it is satisfied, and for C it should be 2, right? So let's check for C. For C you are having a sudden increase in the shear force diagram, so there might be a external loading or reaction force, right? So for C you have the option given us 2, right? Let's check with that. So we are having a point load here, and at the next point there is a sudden increase, so this may be due to the reaction, so you have a support here in the second option, so that is also satisfied, and then there is no loading, and finally again surge, so this may be due to the point load, so that is there, and again at this reaction it pushes the curve up, and finally the load it pulls it back. So again the values are also matching. See here, Q by 2, right? Again here a value of Q, so Q by 2, the value is Q matching, right? So for C the answer is again satisfied. For D, look at it here. So you are going to have a point load here representing this surge, and there may be a reaction here, so the answer is 4. So you have a point load, reaction, and there is no loading in between, and again a reaction representing the upward surge and a constant line, and then finally a dip of minus Q by 2 here representing this force. So the option is A. A is the right answer. Let's have a look at this. Shear force and bending moment diagrams for a beam ABCD are shown in figure. It can be concluded that, so this is a shear force diagram and this is the bending moment diagram. The beam has 3 supports. Can we conclude on that? Let's have a look. So if the beam has 3 supports, right, so there should be 3 surge at least, right? So 3 increase in sudden increase in the shear force diagram. So you have a sudden change in the diagram here, and you have a sudden change here, and you have a sudden change here. Okay, so this may be one of the option. So let's check it with the bending moment diagram. If you have reaction here, then up to the next point it should be a linear variation. You have the linear variation here, right? And then you don't have any change here, right? So then there is no loading, so which means there is no loading, right? So there should not be any linear variation, but you have the linear variation here, right? So yes, you may be having the linear variation. So you have the linear variation, and there at this point there is a sharp increase. There may be a couple, action of couple, which may cause this increase, and at this point again due to the loading you may be having this. So let's keep it in mind. So there may be some reason for 3 supports, right? There may be a chance for 3 supports. Let's have it there, but let's move on. So if the option A has to be correct, only thing is you are going to have only the bending moment here, right? All the other 3 has to be reactions. There is no external loading. All the 3 has to be reactions. Only this is the external loading, right? Only the couple is the external loading, right? So let's have a deeper look into this diagram. If couple is only acting, the reaction will happen, that is shear force will be acting at these 2 points, right? So there is no chance that there is a reaction here. Even if you have a support here at the point A, the shear force will be 0, because at this portion you don't have a loading, only you have a couple acting here. So as a result there will be reaction between these 2 points. So this spike is understood, but this dip cannot be satisfied by the first option. Let me clarify it. Say if it has 3 supports, there will be a sudden change in the shear force diagram at 3 points, 1, B and D. Okay, it seems to be okay. Now let's have a look into the bending moment diagram. So in the bending moment diagram, so there is a slanting variation, right? And then again a slanting variation representing the reaction here, and then a couple, and again it is slanting here due to the reactions and coming back to the point. It seems to be right, but here there is no other spike in the loading due to any external force, right? So only the spike is in the bending moment due to the couple. So we can very well say that the loading is only due to a couple, right? So if there is a couple, so then the reaction will be between B and D. There will be no force acting between A and B. So as a result there will be no reaction at the point A. So this shear force diagram is not satisfied with the bending moment diagram. So you cannot take it as option A, right? So then you have to say, if you have to say end A is fixed, right? So if end A is fixed, let's check with the option B. If end A is fixed, a fixed support provides both the reaction force as well as reaction moment, right? So if there is a moment, there will be a sudden dip in the bending moment diagram. So at the point A, so you have a sudden dip in shear force. So one condition is satisfied for a fixed support, and the second condition, there should be a spike in the bending moment diagram representing the bending moment supplied by the fixed support, but there is no spike in the bending moment diagram here. So the second point you can eliminate. And the third condition is a couple of 2000 Newton meter acts at C, right? So a couple of 2000 Newton meter acting at C, you can say this is right, right? This statement is right because from 1000 to 3000 spike in the bending moment diagram is absurd. So you can say the third statement is right. Okay, and the D, a uniformly distributed load is confined to the portion BC. So which is saying that from B to C there is an uniformly distributed load. So in the shear force diagram, if there is a uniformly distributed load from B to C, there should be a linear variation or a slanting line from B to C should be there in the shear force diagram, but it is not there. So you can eliminate A, B and D. So the answer is going to be C. So from this diagram you can only say that there is a couple acting at the point C, but there may be some other load associated, but from the statements we can only say that there is a couple at C. Right, let's move on to the next problem. A simply supported beam is loaded as shown in the above figure. The maximum shear force in the beam will be. See, you have forces acting like this. So before going for detailed calculation, since it is a symmetric loading, see here at the center you have a load, and at a distance to the left by C you have a load W, and similarly the same distance to the right you have a load W. So since it is symmetric loading, you will be having equal amount of reactions at both the supports R1 and R2, right? So the total loading is 2W plus W plus W, that is 4W. So out of 4W, 2W will be acting as a reaction here and 2W as a reaction here, right? So I don't want to go into the detailed calculation. You want to save time. That is the essence of attending GATE exams. So the totally the force value is 4W. So 2W will be the reaction here and 2W will be the reaction here, right? So the shear force diagram you can very well put it as, so 2W will be due to the reaction, and then there is no loading, sudden spike of W due to the load W, and there is no change up to this point, and a sudden change of 2W from W to 0 and from 0 to W here, and again no change, and then from W to another W, that is 2W spike, and finally due to the reaction of 2W it comes to 0. So this might be the shear force diagram. So in this shear force diagram the maximum value is 2W, right? In no point it has crossed 2W. So the answer has to be C, 2W. So the answer is C, 2W. Let's move on to the next problem. If a beam subjected to a constant bending moment along its length, then the shear force will be. If a beam is subjected to a constant bending moment along its length, then the shear force will be, right? So assume you have a constant bending moment, right? So first option given is also have a constant value everywhere along its length. So what it says is it has a constant value of shear force throughout its length. So if it has a constant value of shear force throughout its length, say there has to be a rise at the support, and there should be constant value, and there should be a dip at the support, right? So that kind of loading is not possible, right? So if you have a point load at the center, half will be increasing, and then up to the point it will decrease. So in a beam, that kind of loading is very less possible, and if you have a cantilever beam, that may be possible, right? So constant if you have a constant shear force in that diagram, then you very well know that there will be a slanting variation in the bending moment. So bending moment will not be constant for a constant shear force. The second, be 0 at all section along the beam. So if the shear force is 0 along the beam, so force into perpendicular distance is the bending moment. So if force is 0, the bending moment is also going to be 0. So if it is 0 everywhere throughout the beam, the bending moment is going to be constant, that is 0. So B may be the right answer. Let's check with the next. B maximum at the center and 0 at the ends. So it may be a uniformly, if the shear force is maximum at the center and 0 at the ends, so this kind of loading, what we can say, if you have a shear force having a maximum value at the center and 0 at the ends, it has to be a uniformly distributed load throughout the entire span. For the uniformly distributed load, you have a hill-like structure in the shear force diagram, right? Linear variation to the center, and from the top at the center to again linear variation to 0 at the ends. So this is again a characteristic shear force diagram for a uniformly distributed load. So if it is an uniformly distributed load, then the bending moment diagram will not be constant. It will be a parabolic curve, that is a quadratic curve. So again you can eliminate this answer, and the fourth one is 0 at the center and maximum at the ends. That is, if it is maximum at the end and 0 at the center, again if there is some variation in shear force, there will be variation in bending moment, so you cannot take this answer also. So only thing is shear force has to be 0 all along the beam, so as a result the bending moment will also be constant, that is 0 all along the beam. So the answer is going to be B, right? So B is the right answer. And the 12th question, match list 1 with list 2 and select the correct answers using the codes given below in the list. List 1, if bending moment is constant, so just you have seen in the previous problem, if bending moment is to be constant, then shear force has to be 0. Okay, so for A the answer has to be 4. So the options for A to B is 4 is the first option and the third option, that is A and C. You have the same option for A, that is A for 4 and 4. So let's check it with the second option. Bending moment is maximum or minimum. Okay, bending moment is maximum or minimum. So the value is given as point of contraflexure, shear force changes sign, slope of shear force diagram is okay, the answer is coming here. Slope of shear force diagram is 0 over the portion of the beam. The shear force is 0 over the portion of the beam, right? If bending moment is maximum or minimum, right, so bending moment has to go to a maximum value or a minimum value. So something is given, right? So let's go over for the next. Bending moment is 0. Okay, if bending moment is 0, then there may be a chance of, if bending moment is 0 at that point of contraflexure occurs, right? So the answer is 1, right? So the answer has to be A. Let's check with the third option. Bending moment is 0. Okay, C. If the bending moment is 0, then shear force changes sign, right? And for D, loading is constant over the entire portion of the beam. So when loading is constant over the entire portion of the beam, So loading is constant, then shear force is, slope of shear force diagram is 0 over the portion of the beam. So it satisfies all the conditions, so A should be the right answer, right? So here it is given as B, but A is the right answer, right? So you have to check whether if it is B, bending moment is constant, so option is 3, so again it is wrong, so it is a wrong answer. Please say put it as A, right? Right answer is A, and this is wrong. This is the wrong answer. The right answer is A. Okay. So I have made a mistake, so don't do it here. So the right answer is A. So these are my references, and further discussion is very well welcomed. Thank you.